Heyo, Plaidman here. So yesterday I made a video, and I'm trying to do more videos, so that's fun. Again, I don't have any Plaidman attire. Sorry, it just is what it is. So you're gonna have to deal with my messy hair. I don't even have a hat on. Oh my god. Um, I made a video yesterday, and part of it, like the first third of it, quarter of it, was about my kid and my wife, and then it went into this other stuff. And my wife was like, "Why didn't you just do a video about me?" And not just about her, but like about family and stuff. And I thought about it, and it's like, no, she's totally right. There's been so much going on positively, and even the trials and the tribulations, and it's worth bringing up and worth talking about, because some of you may not know, some of you might be dads or fathers, and or parents or whatever, and you're like, well, what is it? Sorry about the mess, just moved in a hotel, and yeah. So short form, I am working this job. Sometimes I go out of town for like a week, and it's so amazing how much my wife steps up. And in addition to that, and even more so, it's so awesome how much her mom and her sister especially have stepped up in raising a kid. And it's one of those fascinating things. I feel like we have been fundamentally lied to, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but let me just the positive is, it is so amazing to have a mother-in-law and a father-in-law who are tremendously supportive and helpful with us and our baby. It's also so amazing to have a sister-in-law, for me, or her sister, being tremendously helpful and available. Like today, it was like, my wife was working, and then suddenly, hey, her sister was available and had coordinated picking up our son early from his daycare so that she could spend some time, and very thankful that she was able to do that. And I wasn't part of the plan. My wife made the plan, and it was like, I didn't even know. And it was just, it's so amazing, because I feel bad that I'm out of town, but I'm trying to do this for work. And it's just amazing to have people around who can help facilitate. Takes a village to raise a kid, and there's so much truth behind that. And it's so wonderful to have people around you who care and are willing to give as much love. I mean, there's nothing quite as awesome as seeing my wife tuck in my baby and put him to sleep. There's nothing quite as beautiful as that, and it's just kind of a nice thing to see. But there is something awesome behind people who like you and like your child and flow power towards you and help you in times that are very difficult. Like one thing we did that was just kind of a fun thing, we were trying to figure out, have the baby's first birthday, right? And we were gonna do like this big thing, but it ended up being like the price point on it just seemed so big, and we were kind of running out of time. And so we made this weird choice of like, let's go to San Diego instead. We'll do an experience. Now, mind you, I understand that my son, who's turning one, this is a month ago, he's not going to remember going to San Diego. He doesn't know. We went to SeaWorld specifically. He's not going to remember, but it was a wonderful opportunity to have my two sisters, her two sisters, Jessica's two sisters, my wife's two sisters, and then her parents, and Robin, and myself. And it was like, it was so cool to have this experience and go and experience some of SeaWorld and see, like, I haven't been there in over a decade, 2 decades. And it was just great to have this thing. And then, watch my son and just like have him up on my shoulders and watching the big orcas do awesome things. And if nothing else, it was just a cool experience. And I'm very thankful that we were able to do that. Because, yeah, there's going to be more parties in the past, but there's something about having friends and family, in this case it was just family, there for you. And even to ask your opinions. And like, I've had situations where I'm like trying to find a babysitter, or where do I go to a daycare? Like, how I even found out about where we have them in daycare is through a coworker. And it's just like, yeah, well, if I'm just going on Yelp reviews, that's going to be a whole different thing. But if I'm asking someone I know, and they know the type of person that I want, and they're like, well, this is where I sent my kids, and I can trust that person, there's something behind that. This corporatization of so much stuff, and sorry, I'm not trying to get into it, it's And I have to just say, my wife, to me, like, as I'm getting older and maturing more sometimes, I'm realizing more and more how much patience and kindness my wife has granted me and continues to help me and this inspires me to be a better person. And I feel like there's so many things that guys or people can look towards their partner and they're like, I want him to be like this and da 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 da. And in a weird way, I wrote a list of all the things that I needed and wanted in a relationship. And as I reevaluate and rethink back at that list, it occurs to me that my wife is exactly all those things, but just perhaps in ways that I didn't even think about, that wasn't really there. Like I set it out, but she does it in a way that and it makes sense. And I'll use a weird battle analogy. If you're attacking from the front and you're like, I need reinforcements, and like you expect someone to like help you attack the front, and then what ends up happening is the reinforcements come and attack the enemy from the back, and you win the battle, and you're like, well, you didn't reinforce me the way I wanted you to, and it's like, yeah, but I didn't know it, like I did it my way, and we accomplished the same thing, and that's what we wanted. And so in a weird way, I feel like, at least myself, and maybe other people have this too, where we need and want things and we expect it from this certain perspective because that's our perspective, that's our mindset. But then there's this tremendous thing where, like, oh, but actually you can, sometimes help will come in weird ways that you didn't expect. And in a way, that help becomes even more valuable and more amazing when you're not expecting it that way. When you're not doing something with the expectation of getting something in return, where you love the person and you're like, okay, cool, like I love this person, this is amazing. And then you find that you're getting help in ways that you didn't even think about. So I just want to say it's been tremendous in all the like little things, like just like we have all these growths with my son, and he just keeps growing like a weed. And my son has like super curly hair, and I don't. You know, I do not have curly hair at all. Never really had. Wavy at one point, but not really curly. And nobody in my family is curly. And my wife and I are joking, like, oh, we have no idea where he got his hair from. That's super weird. And then I'm like looking at her as she's like laying down, and I'm like, babe, he got it from you. Like, you have like curly hair. She has so much hair that her hair, like gravity kind of pulls it out. So it's wavy, but it's not straight. But the funny thing is, you have moments like that, and it's like, it doesn't even matter. It's super adorable. This is just a weird story time moment. But yeah, it's just things like that, and like other things like, oh, we're gonna buy all these toys for the kid, and then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, but like, no, we don't want him to like play video games and do things like that and watch TV all the time. And weirdly enough, I'll put on something for, you know, one of my wife and I's favorite movies to watch is Hercules, and we're like enjoying it. More specifically me, I'm like glued to the movie, and my son is laying right next to me, sitting right next to me on the bed, and he's doing with his toy, and he has no care whatsoever about the movie. And it's moments like that where I'm like, we're doing the best we can, and our kid is doing better than I would have hoped. And part of me is like super proud, and the other part of me is like, but I want him to like movies. And I'm loving the journey, because in the years plus with my wife, I'm learning that, like, yeah, no, there is ups and downs, and there is bad stuff, and there are things that I've done that have not been wonderful. But at the end result and where I'm now, I feel like I'm so much better now than I was 8 years ago, even with all the bad. And I hope my wife feels the same. I don't know. I hope so. And so I'm kind of looking forward to the epicness that is my baby. And like, yeah, right now things are weird, different, awesome. And I know that there's going to be moments, and there have been moments where he's crying and he's sad and da-da-da. But on the same token, I'm like so excited for future stuff. So I don't really know what the whole point of this is, other than, again, 1 and 1 equals infinite power. And then when we added, like, oh, hey, we added a dog that we're like, we don't really, and then we found another dog, so now I have 3 dogs and 7 cats, and we're like, we're pregnant, okay, we don't know what we're doing, and like, I jokingly, like, at any point now, people from the hospital are going to be like, we're coming here to take back your kid because you weren't supposed to have one. And I'm like, no, it's just amazing. We're just making it work. And it's difficult. And my wife has done so much to, like, help and go above and beyond and kind of push and make me better. And I hope in some small way I've helped her. But it is a mutual thing. Like, having a moment where she was like, hey, I need you to kind of do more. And me thinking I was, and then looking and like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. And not maybe as well as she would have liked, but like, yeah, no, I could start doing more of that. I'm sorry, it just didn't occur to me. And again, it's one of those things where you're expecting assistance a certain way, and sometimes you have to realize that it'll come a different way, and sometimes you just need to ask. Because, like, people can't read each other's minds, and as much as we would like to, even if you're a good team, like, sometimes you have to kind of say it. Like, imagine if you're playing soccer and you're like, oh, pass to me, but you don't say pass to me because you're like, oh, we're teammates, he should know I'm open, and pass to me. And it's like, no, sometimes your teammate needs to be reminded to pass to you so that you can score the goal. Like, yeah, the objective is the goal. Whoever scores doesn't really matter. It's just the objective is that. And if you're only focused on you scoring the goal, then you're not really a team. You're an individual who's on a team, and there is a difference. But yeah, I'm happy to have my wife on my team. I'm happy we got a new teammate who it would seem kids like take more than they give, but in actual fact, and we joke about this, like, I feel as if my son's babbling. He's super, I imagine, like, what if he's hyper intelligent and super capable and he just doesn't speak English and I don't speak gibberish, or whatever he calls his language, and it's like, oh yeah, imagine he's just like, oh hey, this is how you cure cancer, and I just don't know what he's saying. And I'm being a little silly, but like, there is tremendous value if you look at your kid as not just a child and a burden, but as like this thing. Because, I feed him and I see how he does little things, and every little thing is just so beautiful and amazing, and it makes me want to see more and experience more of that, and because it's a wonderful thing. Again, I feel like everyone should have that, but it's up to you, live your life, but I think it's amazing. So anyways, that's it for now. Plaid Man out. Bye.